The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 121. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of real women producing extraordinary results by finding their inner journey to self-confidence 5 days a week. Get your free audiobook at our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on today. She's a professional coach, a speaker, and a published author of the book, The Power of Faith-Driven Success. So I'm really excited to have her on and share her story about self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Isabel Hundt. Isabel, how are you doing today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Yes, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, for those who listen, I have a little cold coming with the cold here because we have yesterday we had 0 degrees. So I have a little bit of a raspy voice. But thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited. Yes, well, originally I'm from Germany. I moved to the United States about 7 years ago. And I think that's really important to my whole story and the work that I do as global presence, leadership ambassador. And yes, as an international speaker, it has been fun really working with all kind of people from all over the world. It's just great work.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Isabel, what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I think it's not necessarily a quote. I don't know. Do you call Babel versus a quote?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, we have tons of women who quote the Bible here on the show. So yeah,
okay.
For sure.
All right, then I call a quote. For me, it's very important. Matthew 17 verse 20, where it says, truly, I tell you, if you have faith like a mustard seed, you can tell to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. And why this is so important for me is it just shows how little really is required for us to make a big difference, to really be able to go out and change lives and understand that we're all connected. It just reminds me every single day of the responsibility. Even if your faith is just as little as a mustard seed, and for those who know how little that is, you can even move mountains. I mean, what does that really mean for our life, and what is really possible?
I love that verse that you mentioned, because some people think because their faith is so small, they can't do anything. Yeah. And, sometimes it's these small actions that really make a big difference. So, I like that verse that you mentioned. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
For me, self-confidence really is the awareness of one's acknowledgement about themselves. Self-confidence comes through understanding who we truly are and what we're called to do. And the more we understand that, the deeper we can go, the consequence always is another level of self-confidence. I think the more we understand about ourselves, the more self-confidence comes into place of that doubt that we had before. If we think of self-confidence, I think those who really have a great self-confidence no longer have the need to fit into any group or every group and mold themselves into a group, as well as comparing ourselves with others. And if we leave that out and really be self-confident, that's when we can truly understand our purpose, our calling in life, and that's when we make the biggest difference in this world.
I love it, and it's so true, right? There's so many people out there who are defined by this box that they're in, even though they want to get out of it so badly, but they're afraid sometimes, right? Because they don't know what's outside that box. But if you just take that leap of faith, I believe magic happens. So thanks for sharing that great definition. Yes. And what was your life like before the discovery of self-confidence?
I think I was hiding. To be honest, I think I was hiding. If you would talk to some of my high school friends or even family, they would say to you that I'm a total different person now than what I was 15, 20 years ago, if not even less time. But I was very shy. I was very much focused on what other people think about me. I tried to really work according or kind of fit in according to what is required of me. I was living up to expectations, outside expectations, instead of really understanding who I was and taking that and then really valuing myself. So instead, I was just kind of doing what I thought everyone else wanted me to do and say. And when very important thing that I realized about myself, what I did before self-confidence, was I added a question mark to every single sentence, even if it wasn't a question. I was literally doubting myself and what I say now, is that appropriate? Is it right? So if I put a question mark on there, automatically I made clear of, hey, I don't know a thing. If that's wrong, I already made that clear with that question mark. So I think everything there was never really a powerful, well, I wouldn't say never, but with that questioning, there's not really often a powerful conversation in standing up for yourself.
I was like you too. I would question everything, second guess everything, because like I was also like just following what everyone told me, right? Especially like in an Asian culture, most women are just told what to do, and in the process they forget who they are. And then you don't trust yourself because you're so used to other people making decisions for you. So what was that time in your life when you realized like you didn't have to live like that? You can live the life that you want. You don't have to follow what people wanted you to do.
Well, in my book, I describe my whole journey, which is quite interesting. But the real aha moment came when finally things worked out and I was no longer the girl that struggled, because that became the new normal for me. It literally took me 15 years to get where I am today from the first time I started dreaming about that. So that aha moment came when I sat here literally broken inside. I was like, I don't feel American. I don't feel German. I don't feel like anywhere. I don't feel I belong anywhere. Even though I had accomplished living in the United States and had a job, which I actually hated, but there was just nothing there. And then someone approached me about coaching, because my background is in sociology, psychology. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And he's like, well, I think you would be real great in coaching. And that's with that coaching training that I've gone through, that was the breakthrough for me, where I started to see, okay, I don't have to define myself either way. I don't have to define myself according to my background, my education. I am who I am. And that really created the aha moment for me, to stepping outside of what I've known for so long and the way I lived for so long.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And after that realization, what's your life like now?
Now, it's totally different, but it's also more scary because I can't hide anymore. I think that's another thing. Once you have that self-confidence and that awareness, you also know your responsibility. And even if you try to hide, it's like your subconscious mind is like, no, that's not your truth. That's not what you're called to do. And I'm like, oh, dang it. I just want to hide. I don't want to do all that work out there where people see me and judge me and critique me. So it's a little different, but how it works today is really that I have started a sacred practice every single day to be in balance, to understand. Like in my book, I talk about frequency and energy work as well. So that's really important for me, to be grounded, to understand that I'm always safe from within. And that's why I need that. So every day I do my sacred practice, as well as consciously asking the question, what is next for me to do? Like for me, being highly intuitive, I can't set tons of goals that are a couple months out, because that just adds too much energy to everything and overwhelms me, and it's just an overstimulation. So every day I have to sit down and ask, okay, what step do I have to do today? What God do you need me today? And listening to that, even if it's stuff that you really don't want to do, is hard, but you have to do it. So I think it's really more a walk in faith and therefore confidence, where I always know, okay, God equips the unequipped. He knows what we need. And if we really stand up for it and step into that, every single day is a new adventure, literally. Like I never know what's happening the next day.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And I love that phrase you said, God equips the unequipped, because, most successful people are never prepared for what they're about to go into, right? They just jump in, right, and figure it out along the way. So, I think that's a great verse or quote or whatever it is. I mean, it's great. So thanks for sharing that. And, Isabel, if our listeners are, listening to your story, they're getting inspired to take action in their own lives and in their own journey of self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to them?
I get asked this question a lot and never really can point it down to one thing. But I think what is really important is a journey to self-confidence starts with the journey within, to understand who we are created to be. I really think the more time we spend into creating that foundation through discovery, through a journey of self-reflection, understanding, the more confident we will be and the more successful and the more meaningful our lives will be, literally. I think that is the most important that I always say to people. If the foundation is strong, you can build on top anything you want. Even if it sometimes crumbles and it just falls apart, the foundation stays and you just keep moving. And I think that's the really best or the biggest advice that I always give to people.
I love it. It's great advice. So thanks for sharing that. I'm sure our listeners will love hearing that piece of advice. And Isabel, if our listeners want to get to know a little bit more of what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. Just type in my name, and on Twitter as well at Isabel K. Hundt, Hundt. That's a little different spelling right there. Also, my websites, isabelhunt.com and faithdrivensuccess.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you would like to connect with Elizabeth, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Isabel's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Isabel for taking the time to share her story with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited.
Awesome. It was an honor to have you on. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another amazing episode of another woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll catch you later. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us at the Tao of Self-Confidence. Head over to the taoofselfconfidence.com for full recaps of every show, our amazing blog articles and resources, and just plain fun. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits, so start today.